Before this video starts, I want to say a big thank you to SquareEnix for supplying me a copy of Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core. I will get to explaining why this and getting the game is relevant to this video, but again, thank you SquareEnix for this opportunity. Oh, and if you enjoyed this video, then maybe consider subscribing and hitting that like button because it helps out a lot. With that being said, I'll let past me take over the rest. Final Fantasy VII is one of my favourite franchises of all time. I absolutely adore the characters, themes, gameplay and story that are presented in the series. However, something which I have actually brought up in an older video is when it comes to this series, as much as I want to do Final Fantasy VII related videos, I don't have that many ideas when it comes to content. However, this was until not that long ago, but to talk about that we have to rewind back to the 10th of June 2022 with the announcement of Final Fantasy VII's 25th anniversary livestream. With the livestream, the announcement of Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Reunion, a remaster of Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, was made, and it was actually at this point I anticipated that I would try to apply for a code when keys became available in December, which was well away, but I wanted to do this by just going crazy on uploads. Yeah, no, that didn't happen at all. I blame school because I didn't do anything that actually warranted me like getting a code. But like this was generally a goal I wanted to achieve before, but like something would just get in my way and I would barely get uploads out, and even the uploads I had, it's debatable if they were quality looking back at them. But I really did want to try to get the game from SquareEnix because again, Final Fantasy VII is one of my favourite franchises of all time, and that would be seriously cool, you know, like it would have been a great end to the year. I don't know, it was just a big goal for me. But as I said, I didn't upload nearly the amount I wanted to in that time, so when it came to the fateful day where, you know, content creators could apply for keys, I thought I might as well give it a shot, and I submitted this just to try and sell myself. You know, most of it was waffle and me just not knowing what I was on about. But I think by far the worst thing is I linked this piece of if there's one thing I like to talk about more than this, it's Final Fantasy VII. Because it was the only Final Fantasy VII video at this point. Yeah, it was literally the next day where I started to have doubts, but I still wanted to try and prove myself in some way. So I started brainstorming ideas. I had to plan something that I could realistically do, but I had to also link it back to Final Fantasy VII. Then once I had said idea, I planned to pitch it to the Senior Influencer Relations Manager at SquareEnix, who goes by Ibs. So when it came to brainstorming ideas, I thought of doing like a 24-hour live stream or something in Final Fantasy VII, which I narrowed down to the Gold Saucer given its repetitive nature, though I did consider doing a certain amount of battles. But then it became a matter of, what do I actually do in the Gold Saucer, and one of the ideas was to play every minigame like a certain amount of times, but that's when I decided on basketball. So then I just started thinking of how I would do it and decided that I wouldn't be able to do a 24-hour stream, or even a 12-hour stream for that matter. I also had to make sure that I could do whatever it is that I decided on doing within the time frame that was listed on the Rainmaker website. So after looking at the ideas, the idea I came up with was to stream me doing the Super Duck minigame until I reach a set number of hoops, which was originally going to be consecutive hoops, but I later changed my mind for a grand total. But now I had the idea in my head, it was just a matter of asking, and I think this was actually the hardest part of all, because here's the thing, right? This is my sub count. Like, I don't know, I didn't want to come off as like rude as well, like, which like it's really silly looking back, but I don't know, man, I was just worried about like coming off as like needy or somehow entitled, which again was really silly, but this was generally something like I was debating for the whole day. Now I should probably clarify that other than getting a follow and some Twitter interactions, I'd never at this point privately messaged Ibs. But after just debating to myself if I should just say something, I took a risk and I sent the pitch. I did actually do a short live stream to test the idea where I got a record of 19 consecutive hoops, because at this point I sucked at the minigame. Anyway, 2 hours later, I started to feel very embarrassed and already wanted a further tell, but since you can't delete Twitter messages for the other person, I just tried to make a short apology and move on. But I guess not being able to delete messages was actually a blessing in disguise in my case, because I was messaged back, and well, the rest is what I explained in the initial announcement video. I was told that in terms of the number of hoops, I should ask the public, so I actually got the following tweet ready. But here's the thing, in terms of coverage, I wasn't too sure if I could actually get people to give me numbers, because I don't have a large following, especially on Twitter, which you can choose to help by following me on Twitter, link in the description. And I think, looking back, it might have been better if I just put that post out and I didn't doubt myself, because while things worked out, maybe I should have just tweeted out instead of just waiting about. I think it had to do with getting this far and not wanting to mess things up, but yeah. No point of like debating what ifs with myself, just thought I would like give my thought process at the time. Anyway, during this is when I was getting that video ready, and the plan was to get the video ready, check with It's Just Ibs, and make the tweet. So I got the video ready up to a certain point until I could reach the bit about the results of the Twitter poll. So I just got this video ready in the event that luck was on my side, with the intention of then finishing the video and talking about the number of hoops that was decided. But if you watch the announcement video, you'll know the rest, and I waited for the fateful day where I was hit by a sick Final Fantasy VII reference, being left on red. So after a few days I just reworked the video and started the challenge anyway, without any real way of knowing if I could get Crisis Core. Now I just want to make it clear, I don't think I could even imagine how busy it was with the release of Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, so I can't really act entitled because I wasn't owed anything, and the fact that I even got this opportunity alone was crazy enough. I just feel the need to mention this so people don't think I was ignored or anything of the sort. Before I start, I should say that aside from few instances, most of these streams were just gameplay with no commentary, since I would do these streams late, because if I did it during the day, well, I'll get background noise. So yeah, I'll be talking over the whole process, but with all that out of the way, I can finally talk about the challenge in full, so without further ado. To start things off, day one was rough, as you could probably guess. I mean, I just started the challenge, and things got better during it, obviously. This first stream also had a very boring thumbnail, so moving forward I'd actually make more unique basketball thumbnails, some just reflecting my weird sense of humour. But I think this was just a fun thing to do. If I had to choose a favourite thumbnail out of week 1, I would probably go with day 7, because I just thought it was funny. A bit rough, but I don't know, I liked it. Back to day 1 though, as I said before, it was rough, but I did get 375 hoops in an hour. So it wasn't an awful start, and I definitely started to improve, towards the end. But yeah, it was decent pace at the time. Not a bad start, all things considered. Anyway, day 2, I would actually get my first perfect score on this minigame, which was quite the improvement compared to day 1, as you can see. This stream was, again, another hour-long stream, so this was good progress, because I reached 455 hoops during the stream, and while I did have obviously mess-ups and stuff, there was clear improvement. That takes us to day 3, which was actually a longer stream, which was 1 hour and 45 minutes long. However, in this time I didn't actually get a perfect score, which even had more salt into the wound. I was 50 shots off reaching 1,000. So yeah, day 3 was not bad in terms of the hoops I got, obviously, because 950, that's big. But the fact that I didn't get the perfect on that day, despite doing better than I did the day before, it definitely did suck, but we move. Day 4 on the other hand had more promise because, well, I got 2 perfect scores, which kind of made up for the day before, especially when you take in mind that this was a 1 hour stream like the first 2 days. However, day 4 was where I started to have doubts about this challenge, as if you watched the original announcement video, I was waiting for the go-ahead, but as I never got one, I thought I would just do the video idea anyway. But I was at a point where I was just wondering if it was a waste of time. I mean, for one, someone at SquareEnix probably wouldn't see it. The views on the announcement and the streams weren't the best. They were, they weren't great. And even if someone at SquareEnix did see it, as someone mentioned in chat, I have a small subscriber count, so getting what would technically be a sponsorship, it did feel unlikely. If you reach your 50-day goal, what then? Well, the hope is that SquareEnix go back to me and then I get Crisis Core. And then that will be a sponsored stream. Yeah, sponsored stream. Yeah, exactly, but that's big. You know what I mean? Who's sponsoring it? It would be SquareEnix. You do realize sponsored just mean they'd just supply me a code and I'd have to play it on stream. Yeah, cause right, yeah, but it's not money, is it? It's different, bro. And if it doesn't happen, I get a video of it, so I don't care. Yeah, I was coping. I definitely did care. Now, I might as well note that if you watch day 4, because all these streams were, by the way, I didn't mention this, but all these streams were put in a playlist and they are public, so you can view them if you want. But if you view day 4, you hear that I was in a voice chat at the start. You see, friend of the channel, Bub64, was streaming at the time. I was originally going to stay in the voice chat, but it doesn't really work when the other person is just talking about Splatoon, so I ended up leaving the voice chat. So that's why for the first 3 or 4 minutes, you can just hear that. Okay, so day 5 was a slightly shorter stream than usual, by 10 minutes, but I did reach 440 hoops at such a better pace than I could when I first started. And while I did slip up a bunch of times, especially at the start, I did end on a perfect, so hey, that's a win in my book. Moving on to day 6, and this is where my doubts came back to bite me, because I just started to have doubts if this challenge would go anywhere and if it was just worth it during just playing. and it probably didn't help that I was already like feeling off on this day in general. So yeah, no, I was just messing up like quite a bit. That being said, I did reach 565 hoops. However, towards the end, I actually took a risk that I hadn't done previously, which was using the 3x speed introduced in these remastered ports, and I would just use that in between intervals. Now, just to clarify, using 3x speed wasn't cheating, as 1, it was done between intervals, and 2, I had till the deadline, so it wasn't like a speed run in that sense where if I used it, it would be cheating. So yeah, it was perfectly fine to use it. I just didn't previously because it was kind of a risk because it would mess up my timing, which was something obviously I got used to later on, but we'll talk about that when we get there. With that, we reached the end of week 1, day 7, and I made really good progress this time. I got 4 perfects and a few near perfects. And when it comes to the 3x anyway, I was on and off about it because it did mess up my rhythm, but towards the end I did start using it and I was getting gradually better at using it. Okay, now I'm going to go through my thoughts of week 1, and honestly I think it was a pretty good start if anything. Like obviously I am playing this game for hours and hours, but like for someone like me who's not good at like timing based minigames, I think I did pretty well. I mean obviously the trick was to look at, well for me anyway, was to look at the legs, and when they do like the little like Pac-Man open up kind of thing, that's when I would shoot. I know you can look at the hair as well, but that's what I used anyway. I think like I got that down pretty well, and obviously I get better and better, so yeah, I think I did pretty well. Moving on to week 2, and honestly I could probably breeze through this week. Okay, so with day 8, I decided to go the full stream using the 3x between intervals method. And, well, the total speaks for itself because I got a total of 705 hoops. Now, I did still consider the method like a bit of a risk, but like genuinely I started to get better and better at it, and by the end of it, the only downside I had was that it just made my fingers all stiff since, you know, I just don't have as much time to rest. I say that like as if the time between intervals is like longer than 2 seconds. It was just an extra step that I guess my fingers weren't used to. It just wasn't used to all the exercise that it was getting, but yeah. Anyway, swiftly moving on to day 9, and this was a shorter stream. It was 30 minutes this time, but the time was well spent. I started off with a perfect straight off the bat, which was just a great start, you know, probably the best start, but I did get another 3 during the stream as well. So while like the total was only 390 for just 30 minutes, that was not bad. Okay, day 10, and not gonna lie, horrible start and end, but the midpoint was really good. So I don't know what was with the start and the end, but anyway, I reached a total of 675 hoops. So yeah, but the horrible performance from me didn't end there, because day 11, while I reached 730 hoops, which, you know, is good, I only got 1 perfect and got a few close ones, but yeah, I mean, I was half awake at the time when I was playing, just take that in mind, but I did not really do too well, so yeah, here's what it is. Luckily, day 12, my like streak of just playing poorly was ended because I did pretty good. That's all I wrote in the notes though, so I just did pretty good. I got 790 hoops, by the way, but yeah. Okay, so day 13 was literally a 15-minute stream because I felt exhausted, and I actually did alright. I got 2 perfects out of it, which is, you know, it's not bad. But this was actually the first stream that I didn't end on a multiple of 5, which you could just probably tell how tired I was, because on the other streams I would always end on a multiple of 5, you know, because it just looks neat when I'm doing the tally. But yeah, I was just really tired that I only reached 198, so I didn't even reach 200 as well, which is slightly annoying, but we move. Okay, day 14, the last stream of this challenge that was recorded in 2022, and this stream was pretty good for the most part. Like, obviously I did make a lot of annoying mistakes, and my fingers were very stiff like after that whole thing, but I reached a total of 980, and if I had known that, I would have got an extra 20 because 1000, but oh well. And just like that, that's the end of week 2, and to give my thoughts on it, really solid week. I obviously did have some shorter streams like every now and then, but even then, like, my progress and my like ability in the actual minigame was starting to get better, and I mean, it was obvious, and yeah, it was just good. Okay, so now we're on week 3, so starting with day 15. This was a 30-minute stream, and it actually went pretty well because I got my record of consecutive hoops, as I got 4 perfects in a row, and I probably could have gone for more if I kept going, but I needed to keep the stream 30 minutes, so I just thought I would end on a high note, and the final score was 354. So not a multiple of 5, but I wanted to just leave it at, you know, the 4 perfects in a row, so yeah. Okay, now day 16, I messed up. You see, I had to stay over at someone's house, so I thought I would bring all my stuff to, you know, record the minigame and everything. And I actually asked my mum if I could use her laptop so I could, like, stream, obviously, and I forgot to bring one of my controllers. And you think, oh, well, that shouldn't be an issue. Don't you have Joy-Cons? But you see, one of my Joy-Cons is actually broken, so I couldn't even access the game because it requires you to, you know, have either 2 Joy-Cons or a controller. You can't play with just the one controller. So, well, in the stream, it went like this. But yeah, so it goes without saying that I got a whole 0 hoops out of that day, so yeah. Day 17, I had the same issue, so when I, you know, got home on day 18, I thought instead to, like, make up for the day before, I would do a 2-hour and 10-minute stream. My hands hurt after that stream. On a more positive note though, I got my new record of consecutive hoops, but I didn't even get close to beating this after because, you know, my hands started to hurt. But anyway, I hit 4 digits and my total was 1,720, so good stuff. Okay, now day 19 was a short 20-minute stream since the OBS preview thing was being a bit laggy, which was making it annoying to play. And I also had to do some midnight schoolwork, so I had to just make it short. I actually didn't do that great, to be honest, and as I said before, it was laggy, so the lag didn't help. But I reached a total of 255, so yeah, that's that. Day 20 was another short stream, and this was a bit of a more chill one, where I was just typing in chat quite a bit, and also messing up shots, but I did reach 280 hoops. That takes us to the last day of week 3, day 21, and I got 5 perfects in a row, but I messed up, so I didn't actually beat my record of consecutive hoops in a row, but I did alright all around. But I feel like once I messed up, you know, the first time, I just kept messing up. But still, I did alright and I got 735 hoops. And that's the end of week 3. And, you know, it was a solid week, but it was definitely a shorter one because, you know, I missed day 16 and day 17. It also was nearing the end of the Christmas holidays, so school started, so I didn't have as much time as I did before. But yeah, that takes us to the last week of this challenge actually, which is week 4. Week 4, and actually before I start week 4, we have to talk about something that technically starts at the end of day 21. You see, I happened to catch Ibs live streaming on Twitch, which I joined and wondered if I should say something about checking Twitter DMs, but I totally blew my chance. However, it's not over quite yet because we move on to day 22 at 4 in the morning. Don't ask why I was still awake, but anyway, Ibs happened to live stream again. So this was like a now or never situation, so I asked the question at the start of the stream, but I don't think he actually saw it, so I had to think of something quick, and that's when he went on Tekken 7. So I thought I would just join because why not, and it's not like I told friends of mine I was too tired to play Splatoon with them like 20 minutes before or anything. Anyway, so I got my handed to me. Now this is something I have joked about since, but I think it's time for me to actually come clean. You see, what happened was I was actually using psychology, you know, mind games if you will. By making him think that I got beat as bad as I did, it'd feel bad for me, so when I later in the stream asked if he'd read DMs, he'd be more inclined to do so. So in conclusion, yes, this was a totally calculated move on my part, and no, I'm not tripping because I got served. And I guess my mind games worked because I messaged in my playlist and I did actually get messaged back, but it wasn't until the next day where I was messaged something worth noting. Anyway, as for the challenge, day 22, I got a lot of consecutive hoops. Didn't hit my record though, but it just went pretty damn well, like, there's not much to say other than that. My total hoop count was 770. Okay, so about that message worth noting, you see, during the day at around lunchtime, I was just sat around at 6th form waiting for my next lesson, and I got messaged by Ibs. This message was to let me know that Switch codes weren't available. However, something that I just didn't expect to happen because I was just supplied a Steam code, literally just like that. After only 23 days, I got the game. But I did continue with the challenge, and I got the announcement video about me actually getting the game ready in the meantime. But now that I had the game, I had no real obligation with the challenge, so I will go through the days anyway, so I can just reveal the total, but yeah. Okay, so day 23 was very short because I was tired and had stuff to do, but overall it wasn't bad. But obviously, like, I had the usual silly mistakes that were made, but the total was 245. 25. Day 24 was another day where I was just tired, but I did alright and I got 290 hoops. But both day 23 and day 24 were around 20 minutes, so yeah, just take that in mind. Okay, so day 25 I genuinely forgot to stream, so I did a short like 5-minute stream where I nearly got a perfect and I was literally 4 off before I messed up, resulting in me just getting a score of 50. That takes us to the last day of this challenge, day 26, which was another short stream only lasting 8 minutes. But hey, I got perfect this time and I got 100 hoops, giving me a grand total of 13,202, which is just crazy to think about. And that's the end of this challenge. Almost feels anticlimactic since I didn't play till the deadline, but that was the challenge, and honestly, I don't regret all those countless hours playing this one minigame, because in a weird way, it was fun. That I'm convincing myself that it was fun, like I honestly don't know. But anyway, after day 26, I uploaded the announcement to Twitter and Instagram the next day, and I planned to stream FFVII Crisis Core a day later. That didn't work out though, since I had issues streaming it at the time, so after a few days of figuring out what went wrong, I sorted it out and I streamed the game. Unfortunately though, I haven't been able to stream it since because of the whole me, being busy thing and, the before mentioned. That being said though, I might try to stream the game at some point, so look out for that. But that's that. So before I end this video, I want to say again a huge thanks to Ibs and SquareEnix for supplying me with the game and this opportunity, because this whole process has just been great. I'll put links to Ibs' Twitter and Twitch in the description, so just check him out. Oh, and hey, I also want to say thank you for watching this video, and if you've reached this point and you enjoyed this video, then maybe like and subscribe, because I might do more videos like this in the future. Just hopefully it won't take as long as this one did. But with that being said, I've been B, buy my non-existent merch, and bye. This will be you if you don't subscribe.